and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print.
And I don't even care if anyone calls me a Sally, because I'm a snail and I never gonna fail. And you know what? You're gonna have to bail me out of jail.
Nick Reiner is reportedly looking forward to celebrating what would have been his father, Rob Reiner's 79th birthday on March 6th, according to entertainment reporter Rob Reiner in his Naughty But Nice Substack on Monday, January 12th. However, sources say Nick seems deeply disconnected from reality and does not fully understand the seriousness of his situation. One insider told Reiner that Nick truly believes he will be released in time for the birthday and does not grasp why he is locked up at all.
He's going to probably reveal a lot of stuff. I think a lot's going to come out in the wash, and I'm very curious to see how his siblings are going to respond.
He doesn't seem to comprehend what's happening, the source said. Another person close to the situation described Nick as being completely detached from the real world, explaining that talking to him feels like communicating with someone living in a different reality altogether.
Say and spell your first and last name for me.
I ain't gotta tell you my first and last name. Most people know me as Did David.
That he was petrified of his son Nick and that he could hurt him in his final words at this party. If you are going to rehab at 14 years old, how are you not in the kid's life enough that a 14-year-old has to go to rehab?
If this is your first time to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel for more updates. The 30-year-old has been charged in connection with the tragic deaths of his parents, Rob and Michelle Singer Reiner, in December.
Let's talk about this. TMZ is reporting that someone close to the 32-year-old says that Reiner knows he killed his parents, Rob and Michelle, but doesn't understand why he's in jail.
According to TMZ, Nick had previously been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, a serious mental illness, and sources claimed that a change in his medication about a month before the incident caused him to become unstable, erratic, and unsafe.
Part of it, yeah. And that he was being treated for that. He got a drug that stabilized that mental illness.
Or a cocktail of drugs.
Yes.
And he was doing well until a month before the murders.
A month before the murders, we are told doctors changed his meds, and that's when he started going off the rails.
Very alarming behavior. Even the word dangerous was used, that he was dangerous, and his parents were aware of this. They were.
Sadly, insiders say little has improved since then. One source told Reiner that Nick is still struggling with his treatment, that nothing seems to calm or stabilize him, and that it is nearly impossible to reach him emotionally or mentally.
Told he went off the rails, that they never tried to get him in a psychiatric facility during that month, and that is why when Alan Jackson, his former lawyer, went before the media after the hearing yesterday, after he withdrew from the case, he said Nick Reiner will be found not guilty by a jury.
Those close to the case say he remains trapped in a distorted version of reality, making the situation even more heartbreaking and complicated for everyone involved. Nick Reiner has not yet entered a formal plea, but both TMZ and Rob Reiner have reported that his defense is expected to center heavily on his long-standing mental health struggles.
Knows he killed his parents, Rob and Michelle, but doesn't understand why he's in jail. According to TMZ, Reiner believes the people who put him behind bars are engaged in a, quote, conspiracy against him.
Sources familiar with the case told TMZ that the recent change in his psychiatric medication pushed him onto what they described as a path that made him legally insane, suggesting his mental state may play a major role in how the case unfolds.
He went to rehab 18 times.
On Wednesday, January 7th, high-profile attorney Alan Jackson officially announced that he was stepping away from the case, though he made it clear that his decision had nothing to do with his belief in Nick's innocence. Speaking to reporters outside the courthouse, Jackson strongly defended his former client, saying, "What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder." He added, "Print that. We wish him the very, very best moving forward."
Is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print.
His bold statement only added more intrigue and controversy to a case that is already drawing intense public attention. In other news, comedian Nikki Glazer closed out the Golden Globes with a quiet but meaningful tribute to the late actor and director Rob Reiner on Sunday night. While many viewers may not have immediately noticed it, Glazer later revealed that the moment was intentional and deeply personal. Before the show, she had hinted that she planned to honor Reiner in her own way, especially because the Golden Globes does not include a traditional in memoriam segment like the Oscars or the Emmy Awards. That meant she had to find a creative and subtle way to acknowledge his passing without making the night too heavy or emotional. Speaking with USA Today ahead of the ceremony, Glazer explained that she didn't want to linger on his death, saying that people had already been mourning him publicly for weeks. Instead, she wanted to do something that felt true to who he was and to the bond they shared. She even imagined what Reiner himself would have done if the roles were reversed. "If something happened to me and Rob Reiner was hosting a show, given our relationship, how would I want him to handle it?" she said. Glazer added that she eventually landed on a tribute she believed Reiner would have appreciated, one that was heartfelt, respectful, and true to his spirit. Rather than turning the moment into something overly sad, she chose to honor him with warmth and subtlety, allowing his legacy to be remembered without overshadowing the celebration of the night.